Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining us tonight for a Friday night watch chat. And I am accompanied by my partners in crime every Friday night. Amin, how are you doing, man? What's going on? And what are
Good,
you
Rob.
wearing?
How you doing? Happy Friday.
Happy
I'm wearing
Friday.
a Breguet Marine 5817 um,
Yeah.
to go with kind of the guilloche theme that I've had on the mind for pretty good while now, right? Few weeks maybe?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that guillotine train.
Nice.
Um, so very, very cool. Colin, hey, buddy.
Yo, what's going on, man?
How's it doing in the Great White North? Is it the Great White North? Is it?
Great White North, eh?
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's going good.
What do you, well, maybe we should wait to talk about what you may have on wrist because
Sure.
I want to rifle through the crowd and then we're gonna talk about a little bit some watch moves
I'm
tonight.
hoping Colin is double wristing it tonight. I'm just
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I can, yeah.
I mean, like, how many time zones is that he can track?
six.
Six, right? Yeah. Well, before we get into that,
Oh, no.
I got my Panerai. I lent it out to my buddy Dirk for a couple weeks because he was interested in possibly picking one up. Not this one, but possibly picking one up. And I said, well, why don't you try mine on for a couple of weeks just to make sure? So I got to talk to him and see what his thoughts are. I know he liked my watch. So um, let's go and rifle down through to the crowd and say hello, Megan. Yes, you're first.
Wow.
You were first, Megan. Awesome. Thank you for
Wow.
joining us tonight. Bruce coming in on second, Andre with a close third, and PB rounding out the top four. ID coming fifth. Win, place, and show. No ID. Sorry, but thank you for coming. Watch with that was just like kind of like a horse racing thing that I just really
Yeah.
kind of butchered.
You did it pretty well.
Oh, thanks.
Sounds good.
And they're off. Okay. So watches with Mercury. Wow, guys, queuing up for a medal or a meal or what? All right. Peter C, what's up, man? How you doing? Riss Ross, thank you for joining. Chaz from the Berg. It's really cool with the Discord. Have been able to speak with Chaz from the Berg, and he's got one of those soothing Southern voices that's really nice to hear. Wilson, how are you? Junior Johnson, what is up? Wilson, we did Wilson. Did we do Wilson?
We did.
Okay. Scroll through. Let us know what you're wearing on wrist as well, guys. Would appreciate that. Hi, Scott. What's going on? You are here. Kevin from Wrong Time Watch joining us. Hey, buddy. Clocks and Glocks. What's going on? Daniel's here. Daniel the man. Thomas, my friend. Thanks for joining us. I know it's late by you. AZ Clayton getting ready for Amin's next Toxic Watch. What will it be? Will he tell us tonight? We don't know. Watch yourself. Hey, man, what's up? White Gloves, what's going on? Jared, how are you? B-Dev, what's up? Hey, Joseph, thanks for joining us. Way, what's going on, man? And Eric, thank you for joining us. Uh-oh, big guy, trouble. Yeah, okay, that's probably one of the tamest posts that you'll see from Oil Money ever. Hey,
He's
Bruce.
got every
Good
watch.
morning.
How can I not jack this style?
Right. Well, speaking of jacking Oil Money style, Colin,
Yeah.
since that has been thrown down, you've made some interesting moves this week, or not so much. I don't know if they were moves or are moves, but you picked up a couple of watches. When are you wearing one of them at this particular moment in time?
I am, yes.
Let me get the old solo.
Oh, jeez.
Come on, man.
All right, here, I'll take it off so I can show it better.
Yeah.
So I'm wearing
Yes.
Cartier
Love it.
Santos blue dial. Kind of hard to, a lot of glare.
Yeah, no, but we get it, man. That is a beautiful watch.
Right now I've got it on the leather, blue leather.
So you prefer that over the bracelet, huh?
I don't know if I prefer it. Right now, this is just what I have it on.
Okay.
It's
No, I thought you
really,
mentioned that you said you liked it better than the bracelet, but maybe
it's
I read that wrong.
super, super comfortable on this. I'll say that. It feels almost like I'm wearing nothing. It's super slim. Um, and yeah, it just like the curvature of it and the slimness of it, and it's light enough. I really like it. So
Yeah, I love that watch,
yeah,
man. I really do.
yeah.
Um,
I worry about the bezel, but we'll see how
mhm.
it goes because it's pretty exposed. I mean,
Yeah,
you get it a good whack, and you're probably going to do some damage. So
sure.
yeah,
That's not the only thing you picked up this week, though.
that's right.
That would be a good week, though.
So
In
yeah.
any usual week, that would
Do you
be a
want
good
me to
week.
tell the whole story or just what I got?
Well, we got a whole hour. Yeah, tell us the whole story
Oh, we
if you
do.
want.
So, the same day that I was picking this up, I was supposed to pick up another watch, and they brought it out, and I looked at it, and there was a very, very faint mark on the bezel. Um, well, I may as well just show it so I can. So the other watch is Batgirl.
Batgirl.
Yes.
Sweet.
So Batgirl. So on Wednesday, I got the Cartier and the girls sitting there too, and I go, all right, cool, sweet, getting them both. And I looked at it, and right around the between the 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock on the bezel, really close to the crystal, but on the ceramic, there was like a really faint mark on the bezel. So I said, "Oh, give me a cloth. I'll try to wipe it off."
Hmm.
Didn't come off, and so they took it under the loop and all that. What we suspect is that like the numbers on the ceramic bezel are like a platinum infill or something like that. It's some sort of platinum dust. I forget what it is. We think that might have got like kind of sprayed onto the bezel in the wrong spot, possibly.
Hmm.
So anyway, they were like, really sorry. So you have two options. We can send it to Rolex Service Center, and they'll replace the bezel or the insert or whatever they'll do, and it'll be gone for however long. Or you can wait for the next one, which will be who knows, right? So I said, okay, well, let's send it in. So my AD is really good. He basically he took a picture of it. He like put an arrow to it. He texted it to like the Rolex Service Center manager and called him and said like, "Hey, listen, this guy's picking up this watch. There's a mark on it. You know, I'm gonna send it to you. I need you to turn this around as fast as possible. Whatever." Um, and then like FedEx shows up while I'm there, and like literally it was out the door on the way to Rolex before I even left, right? So I was like, sweet. They said, okay, like 3 weeks minimum, because they were going to it was going to go to Toronto, and then they would have had to go to Switzerland to get the bezel or something. And I guess that's where the delay would take, because
Hmm.
Rolex in Switzerland would just be like, yeah, whatever, you know? So anyway, from what I hear, the AD, he like, the owner told me, he's like, oh, his son who works there was like, he couldn't sleep. He couldn't sleep that night. It was bugging him so much. Uh, he called in a favor, and I don't know where this one came from, but he called in a favor, and they got me a new one within basically 2 days.
Wow.
From I don't know if it came from the service center or if it came from another store, or they got a big stash of these in the back, right? So they probably just took it from there. But the first thing I said to them is like, this isn't going to do much for the myth that you guys are just sitting on mounds of these things, like these things just grow on trees apparently. But he said, no, I had to call in a favor and I got you one real fast. So anyway, so they called me, sent me a text today and they said, hey, come on in. We want you to inspect a watch. And I was like, oh, okay. Came in, looks good, grabbed it, and here we are.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Amazing.
That is awesome.
It's almost impossible a position for an AD now, right? Because, we think that they're sitting on mounds of watches. They could be telling us the truth and saying, no, we don't have anything. We just called in the favor, but nobody will ever know, right?
I don't think they had others in the back, or else they would have just given it to me that day.
True.
Like, they would have. Like, I would think that I have a decent enough relationship that they would have said, we actually have 2 right now. Here's a good one. Like, they wouldn't have jerked me around for a couple days, right?
Yeah.
Definitely good point, learning point there for some of us who might not think to look over a new Rolex very carefully, because I wouldn't. Like, I when I bought my ceramic sub date, I looked it over to like make sure the bezel was aligned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't think to look for that kind of thing. Like, I would never think to look for like dust under the crystal or something like that. Now I would, based on like, not saying that that there's a QC problem with Rolex, but like, even the best, it's probably good practice to look for these kinds of things.
Especially right now with the pandemic and everything, like they're having staff shortages and, like there's demand problems and all these things, right? So like maybe some things are slipping through the cracks, and to be honest, the AD didn't notice. Like,
I mean, if
they actually said like, wow, you have a really good eye, because it was not like super noticeable. Like, you had to really look to see it.
And if you had noticed it like a month later, you wouldn't have known if it was something you did, or not. And Rolex Service Center might have said, well, we don't know if
you did it.
Yeah. So that's a great lesson in there somewhere.
Yeah. So it was a good couple of days.
Yeah, well, congratulations again, my friend.
Thanks, man.
And man, your collection it has evolved so much since I first met you, which has probably been like, I don't know, has it been even a year?
It's probably been a year.
Probably been a year.
It's been around a year.
Yeah.
I think when we met and we started doing this, you were did you have any Rolexes at that time, or maybe one?
No, he had the date just. I remember him having
I might have had the date just then.
Really?
Had the date just, yeah. I bet you I had the Glasuta, I had the Moser, I had the date just, probably had some shitters.
The Planet Ocean, of course.
Planet Ocean, yeah. I probably had a few other, can't remember. It's all a blur.
So Marcus isn't here. I don't know if Marcus is going to be late or if he's not going to make it, but I think it's amazing that you guys both have 2 GMT masters, two
so
current
stupid.
GMT masters.
I
think it's cool though.
I think so.
It's cool, but like,
I
don't want Marcus to think I'm copying him.
No, I don't think he thinks.
It's way cooler than having the Black Bay 58 and then the Black Bay 58 Blue. It's way cooler than that.
I think that's cool too.
That's
cool too. I think it's cool too.
I had the Pepsi first. He had the Batman first.
Yeah.
So we can claim that
that's wild.
I copied him and he copied me.
There's probably no other YouTube channel with that combination.
No,
I'm sure there is.
I don't think so.
Maybe.
You don't think so?
I want to get a screenshot of you two going like this.
Oh God! And here's the worst thing is that. So another thing is that I'm thinking about trying to sell the Jubilee and then buying an oyster bracelet to make it a Batman. I'm not sure if it's worth whatever money I'll have to lay out to do it. So in the meantime, what I'm planning on doing is putting this on a rubber bee. And I found a used rubber bee that I hope is legitimate, but we'll find out when it arrives. I found a used one for a good price, and it just happens to be like the exact same rubber bee that Marcus has with like the little blue stripe and all that. So I'm copying him even more.
Well, awesome story.
And I got a watch roll.
And a watch roll, a Rolex watch roll. Man, you are moving up.
You're moving up the chain. You don't usually get merch from a Rolex
I'm almost more
purchase,
pumped
right?
about this. Like this is
So funny.
This is a pretty badass swag right here. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it. So
hey, Rasan, thanks for joining us. Mountain Standard Time is here. AC Clayton giving you some congrats. Oh,
thanks,
and
man.
Rory the Tiger. Okay, well, so Colin is not the only one who was doing some moves or thinking of some moves. Amin, you got something going, and I'm just going to let you tell it and tell as much as you want, giving you the floor.
Yeah. So I'm going to share a screen here.
Yep.
So I've been obsessing about guilloche watches a lot lately, and there are a few people I've been following. Let me see. I don't want to put up my guys. So this guy, Benoit, he has some incredible watches, including some really amazing guilloche watches like this Breguet perpetual calendar. I think I met him when he commented on one of my Parmigiani picks, but he's got a lot of interesting guilloche watches, including this amazing Daniel Roth jump hour. And he's got some really nice macros of these, like that, or this. And so I had messaged him, like, if I want to get some nice engine turned guilloche watches without spending crazy money, what should I look at? And he said early Daniel Roth, Chrono Swiss was one that he mentioned. So you guys have seen that I've been kind of cycling through looking at Chrono Swiss watches, and some of which my Colin and Marcus and Joe and Rob have been advising me about, like certain ones they think are just flat out be a mistake, and other ones maybe a better idea. My family, including Philip, who's in the chat now, have been like looking at some of the ones I've been looking at. For example, there's this Chrono Swiss artist regulator that is engine turned guilloche with like a blue enamel over it. And my family, my kid's been telling me, like, please don't buy that. It's horrible. And anyway, so I've been looking at a lot of different possibilities. Another guy I have been following on Instagram is his name is Roman he's got a podcast called the Fifth Wrist podcast, where he highlights independent watchmakers, and including, that's my son Philip with the commentary there. And Roman also, he's really been into independent watchmaking. He highlights a lot of them on his podcast. He's got a really excellent podcast. Just by pure coincidence, one of the Chrono Swiss models that I actually put a bid on Chrono 24 was this Delphis. This is a really cool retrograde minutes jump hour watch from like the 90s and maybe early 2000s. I really like this basket weave guilloche pattern. This one is, I believe, CNC rather than Rose engine turned. I was able to find out directly from Chrono Swiss, but the seller pointed out that the retrograde was not resetting properly. It was, resetting off kilter, which probably would have driven me crazy, so I didn't go with that one. But so following Roman here, he posts a couple of things. He made this post where he said, had to farewell this little number from Longines today, sacrifices a watch collector. And if there's anything of mine you have an eye on, let me know. I'm highly susceptible at the moment. And I think you guys know from our private chat, like it was 1 or 2 days ago, I said, I'm gonna put this guilloche thing out of my mind. I don't have the
Mhm.
Yeah.
appetite to sell and move watches, and it's not gonna happen for me. I'll think about it next year. Um, but when I saw this, when I saw what he wrote here, my first thought was like, wow, you know, he's making moves like I gotta, get some balls and make some moves too. Um, and then the second thought I had was maybe I can buy his Benzinger, right? So he had bought this incredible Josh Shapiro Infinity Series, which is called the Infinity Series because, like, in this basket weave pattern down here, um, half of the check boxes are like a basket weave within a basket weave, right? It's like
Mm.
it's incredibly intricate guilloche. And I was like, well, he just dropped big bucks on this Shapiro. Maybe he'll sell me his Benzinger, who's like another master of guilloche. And Rob has a watch that Benzinger did the guilloche on, and I've been really admiring Rob's watch. And this guy, Watchmatician, had some macros of Benzinger watches that really excited me too. So anyway, I saw Roman's post, and I messaged him and said, by any chance, is the Benzinger one of the ones that you would consider parting with? And he was like, no way, that one's a keeper, but here's 20 other, watches that I would,
I'm surprised
consider
because
selling.
those are so similar looking. And
Yeah.
obviously the Shapiro would be considered better.
So I
But-
think he's had this Benzinger for I think he said since 2009.
Yeah.
And it was one of early watch, either early to his collection or early to Benzinger, and it's just
Okay.
special to him.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that was my thought, Colin. When I saw that he got the Shapiro, I was like, they're
Yeah.
pretty similar. The
Yeah.
Shapiro's incredible. So maybe he'll part with it, but nope, he said no.
Interesting.
I also noticed that the Benzinger sells way higher in Australia than the equivalent in Australian dollars in their dealer, at least one of the main ones. Like Watch Buys is the Benzinger dealer for North America, and if I
Mhm.
convert the Watch Buys price to Australian dollars and then compare it to their dealer, theirs is way higher. So
I
Interesting.
think that's true with all watches out there.
really,
Yeah, I think they're just more money.
So I probably, wasn't expecting to get a great deal from him on that basis. But anyway, once I had wanted in my mind to get that, kind of like my internal resistance to like, um, I basically decided to make moves at that point, right? So I was like, so that part of it was over for me. So
Which, by the
anyway,
way, this guy
yeah.
has such a cool collection.
Mhm.
For
He really
sure.
does.
So
Like,
so Times Roman AU, he says he collects and trades watches. So I don't know if he trades a lot of watches. I'm not sure. But here he's got an RGM. He's got
he's got things I've never even seen too.
we've talked
like,
about Anordane a bunch of times. He's got a unusual color Anordanes. Yeah, looking through, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff in his collection. And I agree, Colin. Some of this stuff I've never heard of either. Here's two Erard regulator special editions, right? Early Speak Marin.
Daniels,
Yeah, just he got a lot of cool stuff, and he has a good range of prices in his collection too. He's got some very pricey stuff, and he seems to appreciate some Helios here, right? A lot of different levels of budget as well.
Yep.
Definitely would check out his Instagram and his podcast. So anyway, so I moved my Breitling and my Explorer 2 today, and I There were a couple others I thought about adding to the mix, but they were more sentimental. So 2 of them were gifts, not these, but 2 that were gifts. So I should really not move the gifts. Anyway, so I liked both of these a lot, but I really have kind of Bespoke and Guilloche on the brain. And chat's been guessing a lot. I'm not gonna fully reveal it today, except to say that
It's a cliffhanger.
the ones I've been really looking at a lot are Chrono Swiss, RGM, and Benzinger, including Jaeger and Benzinger. One of the so I'll show some of the ones I'm looking at. So here's the 2 Chrono Swiss I looked at a lot were this one, which I think everybody has talked me out of, and the Delphus, which still I really quite like a lot. Although that's probably the most toxic looking, I think, of what I have considered here. RGM, the one that I have been looking at the most is the 801. Let's see here. Sorry, this one. So the 801E series, which is this one, but so it's full guilloche done by RGM. I would be getting the Pennsylvania hands. So these are more like Breguet style hands, and RGM is in Pennsylvania, and he has these really cool Pennsylvania style hands that he can do on these watches, sort of like this with the I forget what he calls them. Keystone hands. So that's something definitely looking at. And then Benzinger on watch buys.
I'll be right.
Sorry. So this Jaeger and Benzinger watches. Oh, these are the Benzinger. So this subscription 3 from Jochen Benzinger, full guilloche also, and then Jaeger and Benzinger. There's this. Sorry, Rob, if I'm going too much into.
No, absolutely no.
This rhodium plated dial with the rose gold guilloche subdial. These are the ones basically I've been looking at the most, and so I pull the trigger on one of the ones I just showed you, and with some modification, and it's going to be probably a 6-month process, during which time I'll have some input about maybe tweaking or customizing certain aspects of the watch, and then I'll have something to show.
Yep. Excellent. Let's catch up with the chat a little bit here. Kevin S., if it's toxic, I'm a buyer. I think these were a lot of comments after you showed your what you were selling. Tease. No, the Explorer 2. The cliffhanger. Yeah, he's doing it. Pooh, this man. Hey, Rajiv, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Masan saying, forget all that. Just get a big yellow G-Shock and call it a day. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice if it was just that simple? You know what I mean? Oh, man. Joe is saying Keystone hands are awesome. Kevin S. saying Keystone cop hands. Okay. That's nice. Just say full G from now on. All right.
Is that for guilloche or G-Shock? I think guilloche.
Yeah.
Oh, full G, full guilloche, yeah.
Amin's got it bad for Guilloche, for sure.
You know what I have it bad for is craftsmanship, something that looks good, and I happen to think Yoshi looks really good, and then something that somebody skilled put their time and hours and weeks into, that really appeals to me, and then something that is unusual and uncommon that
Yeah.
I like to. And then being able to put in my 2 cents on what kind of hands I want, what color movement I want, what kind of finishing I want, that appeals to me too.
Just want to highlight Megan's very nice comment here. Hello, everyone. Always love joining Friday night with you all. My favorite way at the end of the week with Bobby Legs, Amin Reviews, and Colin at Winding Watches. Thank you, Megan. That's very, very sweet. Yeah, look, I'm with you, man. I mean, that's kind of like what I'm into now as well. Something that is more handcrafted, leaning towards more handcrafted, where you can have some input. And I would love for that to be like one of the next projects that I work on is something that just like kind of like where you were at with this current watch potentially, and the Satori, and some other watches where you actually had some input, with the watchmaker, that one-on-one connection. There's something really, really appealing about that you can't get when you buy a mass-produced watch. I don't think not all of the watches in your collection or in my collection need to be at that level, right? It's almost more special when it's only maybe one or two, right? So I get that. I get it, Amin.
Yeah,
I mean, I approve of all your moves.
I don't want all my watches to be bespoke, but I'm getting towards the point where most of them have some craftsmanship aspect, right?
Yeah.
Like the Breguet and the Parmigiani I got recently are not they're not bespoke by any means, right? I couldn't afford a bespoke Breguet or bespoke Parmigiani, but I can point to where some artisan spent some time on certain aspects of them.
Yeah. Easy Clean saying, good for you, Amin, for not chasing what everybody else is. I'm hoping it is an RGM and you share the experience. I've been considering one for a couple years now.
I feel like RGM and Benzinger are kind of kindred spirits. And if you listen, actually, the Romans podcast, within the past few weeks, he interviewed RGM, and RGM talked about his relationship with Benzinger. So I think that kind of ordering process and bespoke process is cool with both of them. And both of them are very willing to talk to you and customize whatever they got for you.
Yeah. Question for you, Amin, from ID Guy. Hey, Amin, any interest in the Breguet Retrograde 5207?
So ID Guy, like you, I struggle a little bit with memorizing 800,000 references. Let me pull it up. Yes, I love that one. That's the one I thought you were talking about. So I can share it.
Yeah.
On screen. Yeah, I love retrograde seconds in general, and I think this is beautiful. It's just, I think it's a gorgeous Breguet. And
this is what I think. I think you should do this. I think you should stop messing around with these other guys and get your Breguet.
Yeah, ID Guy, I have a 1 watch per brand rule for myself, which is the only thing that's kept me from buying this watch, is that if I bought this this watch, which is relatively affordable, comes up under 15,000 pre-owned. So it's still expensive for me, but not like craziness. This is, by the way, bad picture. I wish. Let me actually. The Guilloche on this is outrageously good. I'm going to try to find another one fast. But I would have to sell the Marine based on my rules for myself, and I don't want to sell the Marine. So that's Breguet usually has their own high resolution images of every rewatch, even sort of discontinued ones.
Yeah,
But
man.
I'm not
I'd
finding.
show that stuff off too.
Yeah. Why am I not? So ID guy is much better than I am at finding these high res images quickly. But yeah, seeing the retrograde seconds just instantly flip back from 60 to 0 is really just cool to watch, and the guilloche is amazing. I would loop it all day. So yeah, I've definitely thought about this one a lot of times.
Kevin saying, for all the jokes, I do appreciate or respect Amin's collecting style. Good for you, man. Wilson,
Thank you.
Amin's buying Bespoke means more Rolex for the rest of the world, or at least more for Colin. That's an interesting take. Okay.
So I make fun of Philip for complaining every time I do this, but he actually gets my moves. I think he appreciates what I'm thinking too.
Oil money. There's also something really appealing about not having Colin as a panelist too, but here we are.
What? So obnoxious.
Dude begs on me all the time, eh? I think he's jealous. I don't know of what, but of something.
Yeah. Amin's the one to end up with the Paul Newman equivalent
Nah.
30 years from now.
I'm probably going to end up with the least valuable collection 30 years from now, but I'll still hopefully like it.
Oh man.
You have your conviction, though. That's what I admire. You have conviction in your collecting philosophy. Because I don't have that kind of conviction. Which
if ID guy is pointing out that how much he likes that Breguet and he understands the one watch per rule. If I didn't have the one watch per rule, one watch per brand, I think I would quickly have probably maybe just Moser, UN, and Breguet. That would probably be my collection.
Okay, I'm just sorry, guys. I'm just trying to catch up with the chat here. Are those expensive to service? I imagine talking about the Breguet.
Probably.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Clocks and Glocks. I'll buy your Marine for 500. No.
Yeah.
600 top.
Kai offers me like 6,000.
6, yeah.
About once a month.
I'll give you 61.
Rules are meant to be broken.
It would just snowball for me. It would snowball for me. I'd end up with.
You've broken your rules though. I mean, you've had multiple Rolex in the collection, right? I mean, you have a Datejust.
I've broken it for gifts. So the Datejust, because it was that Datejust just turned 20 years old in my collection. My brother-in-law gave that to me in 2001 as a engagement present. So because it's a gift, I don't count that in the collection, and so that's how I got around that.
Joe saying that he likes your collective perspective. It's very unique and refreshing. While he doesn't always love your choices, I can see a vision.
I'm glad it's him and not me.
A lot of people
say
like that.
Watching it.
I don't like your watches, but I respect it.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
It's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Philip's saying is I support his choices so he doesn't fall into depression. Also, when he buys something, I slide in and try to get a new fishing reel.
Yeah, or a kayak and a fishing reel, as this week might. He
learn how to spell reel, Philip.
Yeah, he knows how to spell reel. He's just his mind is. But yeah, he slid right up into my mode this week and ended up with a kayak and a agreement for a fishing reel. So.
Oh wow!
Very, very nice. Actually,
Mrs. Legs to do it.
Mrs. Legs and I are going to be going shopping for kayaks soon too. So
cool.
I should have waited because Colin offered to adopt Philip, and I was going to loan him out for 3 months. Colin could have got his kayak for him this week.
I'm not buying a kayak. I got to buy watches, dude. He doesn't realize how good he has it because you save some money for stuff for him.
Yeah, Philip sometimes I think thinks he's deprived, but I told him,
Yeah.
if we loan him out for a little while, he might find out he's not deprived.
Yeah.
Well, excellent, Amin. Thank you for sharing. We'll be following your little tease, your little journey
Once I get a
for
little
a while.
closer, I'll
Yeah,
share more.
yeah, and hopefully you get that watch sooner than later. Waiting can be tough, right? And you've had recent experience, and you're waiting for Kellar's, right?
Yep.
That's another one you're waiting for.
Mm.
So anyway, so let's move on to a different topic now. Earlier this week, I was chatting with some of the guys on the Discord server, and one of us had bought a sort of like a higher end or luxury type purchase, at least for him, in his mind. Well, it was definitely more than he's ever spent on a watch. So that's probably a better way to say it. And so he posed a question to us. What would you consider a luxury watch, right? And so we definitely had different answers and points of view. And Oil Money was there, and a couple other guys were there. Giving their 2 cents, and so I wanted to get some feedback from you guys, and
Mm.
then from the chat. What do you consider to be a luxury watch? Now, I just to kick it off, I don't put like a price tag on what I think is luxury, although I don't think like a Seiko a Seiko Samurai is a luxury diver, right? But
Mm.
but for me, it's just almost like the feel of the watch. Like I have to like look at it and feel it, and price is maybe not the number one criteria or number one thing. It's the way it's finished and the way it's looking. Now it happens that some of these watches that I'm talking about with finish um, are more expensive, but for me, it's not necessarily a price. Now, do you guys associate a price with a luxury watch, or is it more than that?
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of like maybe more than $2,000 as a luxury watch. Um, that's just a figure that jumps into my head. I mean,
Mhm.
I think there could be exceptions where you could find a watch that is surely a luxury watch that you happen to get for less than 2,000, or you could buy a watch that's not luxury for more than
Mhm.
2,000. So it's not like a hard line, but that's about where I think of that, where you tend to start to see luxury feel and in a watch is
Mhm.
around north of 2K.
So now, so going to that point before Colin, you answer.
Yeah.
So the U50 that I purchased, right? It's just under $3,000.
Mm.
Would that be now? I know you haven't seen one in person, but from what the pictures and from what I'm describing to you, what I've described the watch to you, would you consider that a luxury watch?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd probably have to handle it. So
Hmm.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's tied up, the idea of luxury is tied up with brand and even like shininess and
Hmm. Yeah.
dressiness for me. And like that's such a matte intentionally sporty. I think like even sports watches, I don't tend to think of them as luxury unless they're also like fancy in some
Yeah.
way. Um, so I would probably say no,
Hmm.
even though it's luxury watch money.
Yeah.
I would say
I would agree with you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Colin, what do you say?
It's an interesting question. I wasn't prepared, but
Mm.
uh, I mean, my definition is going to be different than
Hmm.
everyone else's. I think it has a lot, and my definition has probably changed. I don't think it's a price point. I think it's how it makes you feel. I
Hmm.
think it's something that you feel almost like you're going above what you feel is necessary, I guess.
Hmm.
So like, early on in my collecting, to me, luxury was like my Planet Ocean. Like that
Yeah.
was to me, that was like, holy smokes, I can't believe, I'm buying a $3,500 watch, which is what was about what it cost when I got it. And it was like, I can't imagine, spending that much. This is way beyond anything I would ever expect. Now $3,500 for a watch is like, I'll try this out for a while, see if I like it, right? It totally changes with where you are in your watch collecting. And then there's other people where they'll just feel like, hey, I got a Tissot or I got a Hamilton, and that's more than I need. It's more than what most people have, and it makes them feel really good. It makes them feel like they're putting something special on. So, but to me now, where I am now, and all the watches I've handled and had, I think it's got to be from a reputable brand, or from like Amin uses, is these bespoke guys who are crafting something for you. It's got to have something extra put into it. I'm kind of grasping here, but
no,
it's
I know
really just a
exactly.
feeling. It's like how it makes you feel, right? So I don't think there's like cut and dry necessarily, like this is luxury and this is not. Although I do make that split second judgment all the time, on these streams where I'm like, oh yeah, this is good, this is not. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a good question.
Scott saying these days with cell phones, any watch is a luxury. The cell phone is a tool to tell time. Nefarian, I see style and materials, craftsmanship as a luxury. I don't see expensive tool watches as a luxury like Tudor or other factors based on price. Rasan saying for me, brand and finishing, price not so much. Yeah. Paul, I think it starts with hand applied indices, usually rhodium plated, nothing stamped. Mill class is a must if on a bracelet. Kevin R. Oris and Tag Heuer or Zinn luxury watches. So that's maybe a good place to pause here, because we all have our different opinions. I don't think, for example, Zinn, I don't think most of their lineup at all is what I would consider in my mind luxury. Like Colin and Amin had said, and some of the people say, it's like a feeling too, and it's more of a tool watch brand. Now, Tag Heuer and Oris, maybe they have some models in their lineup that are, or I would consider luxury. Would you guys? What do you guys think about these three in particular? Or if not, then we could just keep moving. It's not a big deal.
I think it's sometimes, I don't know if this is semantic difference or not, but a lot of people in this chat are saying it depends on how much your perspective and how much money you have or what your situation is. And I think if you define it that way, then that's what it is, but if you don't define it that way, then but anyway, there are Tag Heuer watches certainly that I think are luxury, including some of the less expensive ones, and Oris too. So I think so. And with Paul's definition about features like a mill clasp and applied indices, the only thing I would say to that is that we're seeing extremely, well, I don't know if that's what you call extremely, but very low priced, especially micro brands that tick off all those features as a checklist of what they feel like they're supposed to have, like a milled clasp and applied indices and yada yada. And some of those I would definitely not consider luxury, even though they managed to tick off those checklists.
Yeah. James, oil money's 2 cents are 2 slippery pennies. Yeah. ID guy, I reckon if it's worth equally or same as your car, you can consider it luxury. Does negate the whole price dilemma. $500, $10K, $100K, all can be relative to the buyer.
So if you by that logic, if you're super crazy wealthy and your car is extremely expensive, I mean, I still think a Rolex, Submariner is still a luxury watch. Like if you if you say, "Oh, that's not a luxury watch to me," like, I think that's kind of BS. I mean, that's still
Yeah.
a luxury watch.
This is going to be a total humble brag, but I don't own any luxury watches, if that's the definition, because even my date is less than my car. So
And all my watches are luxury items because I have a Honda Civic that's got
Yeah,
150,000
I got a
miles.
bunch of luxury watches by that definition.
Yeah, yeah.
Phil keeps trying to get me to upgrade my car, but yeah, I got a bunch of luxury watches by that definition.
Oh man. Okay, where decoration takes over from function and is the main focus, maybe. Okay. Megan said, I think that a luxury watch is going to differ to everyone, depending on budget or income. Yeah.
Yep.
What I consider to be expensive is going to be different from what my father considers to be. Sure. Yeah, I think it's just more like it was just an interesting question brought up by someone who made that big jump early this week, right? And wanted to get everyone's feedback of what is as luxury, because he was like super impressed by his purchase compared to what he was usually comfortable um, collecting beforehand. Like he was like, oh, I get it now. You know what I mean? And his reaction was like, oh boy, he's in trouble now, because like
Yep.
he may never go back.
And
Once
it's
you open that
easy, like
door.
Colin said, to start to think like, I would never spend that much. I mean, I would never spend
I
that
know.
much. I mean, I would
Yep.
never spend that
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Next
can
thing you
happen.
know, you just get desensitized, and yeah, slippery slope. As long as it doesn't hurt you, I guess it's fine.
Would you consider all Omegas luxury?
Not the speedy reduced.
I certainly would consider any current production. If you're walking into an Omega boutique and buying an Omega, yes, I think all of those are luxury.
I'm with you. Absolutely. Any modern Omega now that you can go to the boutique and get.
Like a badly redialed vintage Omega, then I would not. But basically, yes. I would say yes. A Speedy's luxury.
Then every time you hit your max, it goes up. Yeah, it certainly does. Right?
Yeah, I think it does until you hit a certain point, though.
Yeah.
I think usually some people hit, and then they're like, "Ooh, I've gone too far," and then they pare it back.
Yeah.
Most people. I mean, there's always others who are just like, whatever. But
like what I've found is I've pushed that envelope, right? Of where I'm comfortable to spend, and then it's funny. I've gotten to that point a couple of times, and then it's not like I can't go back. I can, and suddenly I also appreciate the stuff that we consider more affordable as well, because I've seen the amount of pleasure I get from spending X amount at the top of my limit. And then I'm like, oh, wait a second, sometimes I felt that feeling before, and it's with something that's more affordable. So I think I can still, no matter how I push that limit higher, if I do, I can always, go down to the affordable side and be just as happy as well. I think I like having, like, I don't like all affordable watches. I don't like all max spend watches. I like everything in between. I think that's what it comes down to for me personally. Colin is a savage. You're right. Rasan.
Oh, because of the speedy reduced comment?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not very savage. Come on.
Rasan agrees.
Just saying what everyone thinks.
Time is the most precious commodity for certain. Yeah. Okay, guys, getting all existential on us.
Very deep
Man,
in the chat.
Geez, this is the wrong chat. This is the wrong Tuesday nights at Almond Reviews. That's the chat. Go for if you want to be existential.
It's funny.
What is luxury? A chill Friday night talking watches with you, beautiful bastards. Yeah.
Thanks,
You know
man.
where time comes to me to be precious is if I find myself spending too much time trying to sell a watch. I feel like I'm losing money.
No, you're not.
No, if I do, that's why. That's one of the
What do you
reasons why
actually? But you just put it up and then you just wait. Like I don't understand why people get worked up about that.
I feel like a certain amount of my mind is my CPU is spinning on that, and I
Really?
just
Mm.
feel like
Like
it's
once every couple days, you write bump.
all
I don't
right.
know.
I
It's not
I
that
think
hard.
yeah, it's
I
just
think we found maybe Colin's fourth Instagram handle here, the edgiest Canadian for sure.
I'm the edgiest
At
Canadian.
at
You guys
at
don't know Canadians too well.
edgiest Canadian.
Colin has got only two.
Only two, maybe three. Is this the Jeff McMahon channel? Yeah,
What's
Jeff
the
is great.
He's
Jeff,
got a great channel.
oh, Colin, if you yeah, check out Jeff McMahon. It's
Yeah.
he it's not necessarily like he doesn't do much in regards to reviews, although he does it every once in a while. He does like collection reviews of himself, but he asks all the hard questions about, like, the kind of human being he is, or
Oh.
addiction with buying watches. It's funny. It's
Oh.
funny.
Well, I hope it's funny. Okay, that
Yeah.
sounds
Well, I
like
mean,
it'd be
I
a
think he's
bummer,
serious.
man.
I think
That'd
he's
be a
serious.
bummer. I don't want to
He
look at
does it in a
myself
way
in the
that's
mirror.
not a total bummer, but it's thought provoking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Jeff. Colin and Tom Green, edgy.
I love Tom Green.
Remember his show on MTV? It was MTV,
So
right?
good. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
so good.
And then he was like married to Drew Barrymore for a little while, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah. He had it made for a while.
He did, and then just
He was
like
killing it. Yeah.
Frankie Got Fingered, wasn't that one of his movies?
Oh,
or
that was
something?
so funny when he like put the deer skin on. Oh god, that was so good. Sanjay must know that movie.
No, he doesn't. No, he
So
doesn't.
Clayton is saying searching for Geisha Dell watch time doesn't count. So can you highlight Clayton's thing there? Easy Clayton, last 5 comments up. So if you enjoy selling watches as much as I enjoy looking for geisha dials, then it's a good use of time, I would say.
What else ruined his career with that movie?
Oh, it was funny. Come on.
Okay, so we have Tom Green, we have Colin,
Yeah. Jim Carrey.
Okay, so the Mount Rushmore of edgy Canadians.
Edgy Canadians. Mike Myers.
Yeah, is he edgy?
Martin Short, maybe. Martin Short
is edgy. So okay, so there we go. Okay, we go. Colin.
Jiminy
Short.
Glick is very edgy. If you know who Jiminy Glick is.
Yes, I do. Oh, is Norman Canadian? I didn't know.
Norm is Canadian.
No,
I love Norm so much.
He may be slightly more edgier than you, Colin.
I think he's much more edgy than I am.
Oh, but stop with this guy. Stop with this Mr. Wonderful. I'm done with it.
If you look at the comedians from Canada, you'll probably start to understand me a little more and understand Canadians a little more.
Oh, are you giving us homework?
Yep.
Oh, all right.
We blend in. You've already seen them all. You just don't realize it. Kids in the Hall, baby.
Yeah, I used to love that. Was on HBO for Squish Your Head. Yeah.
Gushing your head.
Alanis Morissette.
She was pretty edgy, wasn't she?
She was pretty edgy.
Yeah.
Shania
Twain, baby. Ooh.
Degrassi High, man.
Yeah, what about Drake?
Drake? Yeah.
He was on Degrassi, by the way.
Do you guys remember? This might be, I don't know, Colin, I mean, you may have known this show. Definitely Amin. You can't do that on television, on Nickelodeon.
Ooh, that
with the
sounds
slime.
familiar.
Every time we said, I don't know, you get a green bucket of slime fall on your head.
I remember. I never watched it, but I know what you're talking about.
Alanis was actually on that show when she was a little kid. Chaz Ritterberg, oh Canada.
Naming Canadians now. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds, he's pretty
Ryan
edgy.
Reynolds, yeah.
Seth Rogen, he's pretty edgy.
You
He
know,
like goes to battle with people on Twitter and stuff. He'll just
So
tell
there's-
people to F off. Like,
so there's probably what, like 40 million Canadians
yeah, about
out
that.
there. Like I
Good
always had
bet,
this,
yep.
like I always had this thought, like like if I moved to Canada, like I could be like a famous Canadian. Because like, what are the odds? You got way better odds, right? I could totally be a famous Canadian.
Probably. Yeah. I'm sure.
Oh man, like I just do your accent all day.
That's so funny.
Oh, someone knows Corner Gas in the Red Green Show.
No, yeah.
They must be Canadian.
The corner gas, yeah, the red green show.
Corner Gas. What about
Wayne Gretzky. Oh boy. Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
Rob starts doing a Swedish accent.
John Candy.
It's not
Dan
Swedish, you know.
John Candy, Dan Aykroyd. You know who's pretty edgy? What's her name from what's that show? You know, what's her name from what's that show?
Oh yeah. Oh, you know the show. Yeah. What's her name?
Catherine O'Hara from Schitt's Creek when she's pretty edgy on the.
You betcha.
You betcha.
Rob would be in the top 1% of your age group in deadlifting in Canada. You're absolutely right, Chad. I'm moving. Mrs. Legs, let's pack up the kids.
I don't think so.
We're going up to Canada.
Rob,
I
did you see
know
this
I know
super
a
chat?
Canadian that can deadlift like his like 3 lift max, like he's a power lifter. It's like something stupid, like close to 2,000 pounds or something.
No, I know.
don't
I
what it
mean,
is.
but
damn.
you know, for my age group.
And he just lives in my neighborhood. Like, anyway,
Thank you, Brent.
for my age group.
Thank you. No, I've actually looked at like power lifting competitions, which
Yeah.
you do the 3 main lifts, right? The bench, the squat, and the deadlift, and like all in my area in the last like 4 or 5 years, I can easily get second place in my age group because I would be the second guy competing in my age group. I mean, but nobody has to know, right? Like that would be like on my LinkedIn resume. Oh, here is Rob. He does this, and then oh, by the way, look at all the second places he's won.
Second place is first loser.
My money's on. Thanks, Chaz. Yeah, I know you can count on you, man. Well, guys, we've said it all, right? I mean,
Tom Cochran. Whoa. Sorry, someone just went deep. Tom Cochran. And you guys know who that is? No. Life is a
no.
highway. Life is a
Yeah. Yeah, life is a highway, you know. Go 60 kilometers per hour.
What about the Trailer Park Boys? They're pretty edgy.
Trailer Park Boys? Yeah. Pretty edgy.
I don't know 90% of the people you're throwing out there.
No, Bubbles? You don't know who Bubbles is?
I don't know who. Almost anybody.
Ricky from Trailer Park Boys, like that. You don't get much.
And the worst part is that I'm like, oh, probably if I look them up, I'll know who they are. And I'm Googling these people as you say them, and I don't know who any of these people are.
Look up Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. You'll be
starting off with that first actor you said, whoever that was. I was like looking at
Jim
pictures.
Carrey?
No, Jim Carrey is one of the few that I know from the people you said.
Chaz, they might as well be, right? I mean,
Nickelback
they might as well.
is Canadian.
Oh,
yeah.
I know Alanis Morissette.
We usually don't admit that.
Shania
but
Twain. I know Jim Carrey.
So is Avril Lavigne. She was edgy. Avril Lavigne.
Sure, she colored her hair. Yeah, absolutely. She was
super
teenage
edgy.
angst.
Yeah.
You know, a few years ago, I was on Facebook and somebody posted this link to a Facebook app, and it was like, you know, they put down as a click this if you want to figure out friends who you want to defriend, right? And so I clicked on it, and sure enough, it popped up all my friends who are fans of Nickelback. There was like 3 of them, and I really liked all of them, but it was like one of the funniest things I've ever clicked on in my whole life.
That's funny.
Some 41, yeah, that's right.
They are, yeah. There's a lot of good entertainment talent from Canada.
Yeah, poor man.
We got nothing else to do.
No, I tell you what, I can be famous in Canada and like within like a month. No, I'm serious. I'm gonna do it. You'll see.
All right.
Oh man.
Well,
We're not going to let you in, you dirty Americans.
yeah, no. You'll let me in. You'll be like, oh, please come in. Please.
Please come in. We got so much space to fill, eh?
Yeah, we got. I mean, you guys have like what, 2 channels? So like,
Channels. Actually, yeah, pretty
and
much.
then like all of them are, and the other ones are they just show hockey 24/7.
Well, even I mean, we got the CBC and we got Much Music.
Yeah, there you go.
That it.
I know. See, Chaz is like my biggest fan.
Could have been huge in Canada. Yeah.
Anyway, guys,
well.
we went over
fun.
a little bit. We got a little silly here.
That's okay. It's nice to let people know about Canada.
Yeah. Amin, anything else? Anything coming? Any reviews coming this week?
No.
Fair enough. Colin, what about you? What say you?
I'm probably going to be annoying people with lots of pictures of my new watches on my Instagram.
Man, no,
so
please do, man. I love it.
At @winding_watches.
Dude, the secret's out. You can share watches between your 2 Instagrams.
Yeah,
it's totally fine. Everybody knows.
Yeah. Everyone knows what.
Yeah, everybody knows.
But if I share watches, then the secret's out, right?
Secret's been out, my friend.
Nobody knows anything.
Well, guys, anyway, Sunday night, watch Soup with Sanjay and I think Josh from the Town Watch is going to be joining us this Sunday. And look out for a special unboxing with Mrs. Legs. I'm going to get Mrs. Legs' first reaction on a watch that we are both kind of interested in and maybe thinking as a couple's watch. We'll see. We'll see how that turns out.
2 of them or shared one watch?
No, shared. No, shared. Yeah. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see
Not
how that
like
turns
a big
out.
version and a little version, or 2 of the same one, or something like that.
No.
Right.
Or not one and then a camo version of one.
Okay. All right.
Good night, guys. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Thank you.
See ya.
See you guys.